Arnold Press. So we're using dumbbells and we're starting in a seated position with our Arnold because a lot of times we'll see people really overextend or overarch their low back when they go to press into an overhead position. In the seated position, it makes it a little bit harder to cheat through arching, and then it gives you a little bit more of a tactile feedback as you're seated. So when you go to arch, you really feel the arching because your hips are quote unquote kind of locked up. So where we're starting is we're gonna have a dumbbell in each hand and my elbows are gonna come around to the front of my body and my hands are staying about shoulder width apart. And what will happen is the dumbbells almost touch in this forward position. There's about an inch between them. And then what I'm doing is I'm driving my knuckles toward the ceiling, and then my thumbs, right now it's hard to tell, but my thumbs are rotated out away from my body. And as I drive my knuckles toward the ceiling, I'm gonna rotate my thumbs toward midline. So my elbows are in, I'm gonna flare my elbows out, rotating as I'm pressing, trying to get all the way to that top position and reaching toward the ceiling to get to a full overhead position. So all the way to the top. And then I'm doing that without overarching my low back. Obviously you wanna have some sort of arch in your thoracic spine and a little bit in your low back, your lumbar spine, to get into that pressing position. But again, we're just doing our best to not over exaggerate that arch. If you get pinches in the front of the shoulder, meaning if it becomes painful, try to change your hand position. Maybe you're a little bit too far forward. Maybe you need to bring your hands out a little bit. Maybe you need to add less rotation. Maybe you need to lower the weight. Maybe you need to limit the range of motion a little bit. It's hard to say without being right in front of you, but you have to play with your setup a little bit. Just because you get some sort of abnormal sensation with the movement doesn't necessarily mean the movement's bad right now. Try to modify some of those variables that we just talked about and then progressively load that over a period of time. And a lot of times what you'll see is those movement patterns will clean up a little bit and those aches and pains and sensations will subside.